But today I wanted to specifically talk about setting up a good morning routine, especially when we have little kids. So for those of you who don't know me yet, my name is Chelsea and I'm a mom of two boys. I am a doula, an essential oil educator, a yoga teacher, and a mindset coach. So there's just lots of things going on there. But specifically today, to touch on setting up a good morning routine is all about the mind, which I'm going to give you a little education lesson. The mind is not the brain. So lots of us like to think, oh, my mind, it's my brain. Your mind is actually your whole body. So by setting up good things in our mind, it translates from our conscious to our subconscious and then into our body. So the mind is actually like every cell of our body, which is crazy. And so to kind of set up and start this, first you have to figure out the feeling that you want to create for your morning. So for me, up until yesterday is what we like to say to retrain our subconscious mind. So for me, up until yesterday, mornings were hectic and very crazy. When I first kind of had this morning routine kind of thing that needed to be set up was when my son started daycare for the first time. It was like, okay, now we actually have to be somewhere at a specific time. And we have to like do the things that we need to do to get out the door in order for us to get places on time. Specifically daycare, school, those kind of things. There's a set time that you need to arrive. And for yourself, if you are a mama and you are still working or working currently at a job outside your home, then that requires you to start at a certain time. So it requires like help with the kids or getting kids out the door and then you getting to somewhere on time. So set up that feeling. And I want you, if this is something that is like our mornings are chaotic all the time, please actually like follow this video. I'm going to give you 5 steps on everything you need to do to kind of flip that chaos feeling and bring it into calm if that's kind of what you're looking for. If you're like, I want my mornings to be more calm and fun, like my mornings became fun when I was able to switch this. So first you need to set up that feeling. What is it that you want your mornings to feel like? So this is setting the end goal. So this is my number 1. Set that end goal of like, okay, this is how I want it to feel. And then number 2 is working backwards. So at this point, okay, let's say you have to be out of the door by 8 o'clock. It's going to take X amount of time to either get yourself ready, get your kids ready, get them breakfast, do any lunches, anything like that, I have to leave at this time. Okay, so now this determines the wake up time. For me, up until yesterday, it was my son waking me up. And that would just set our morning off into crazy chaos and not set a good start to our morning at all. So when I began growing my mindset and studying myself every single morning, it was forcing me to get up in the morning. So now I am up at 5:30 and then my morning routine starts after my study, which is after 7 or 7:15. And then that's when our morning starts. Either my oldest son is already up or I go get him up, and then I get my youngest son up shortly after that. So it's just finding that routine of what's going to work for you by the time that you need to leave the house. And then give yourself a little bit of a window just in case it takes a little bit longer. Because in the first week of transitioning from your old routine to a new routine is going to be a little bit rocky, but that's okay. Once you get onto the routine, it becomes a habit. Then your kids get in this habit, you get in this habit, and your routines in the morning and all the things that you need to do will get done. So figuring out what time you need to leave the house and then work backwards. So that is my number 2. My number 3 is if you specifically work outside the home and you need time to get yourself ready, whether you shower in the morning, do your makeup, hair, whatever, getting dressed, get yourself ready first. I would always leave myself to the very last. I would get my kids' breakfast and do all the things, pack backpacks, all that stuff. And then I would have no time to get myself ready. Luckily, I don't work outside the home now. So I didn't have to do my hair and makeup just to do daycare and school drop offs. But still, getting yourself time, like changing your clothes and doing the things you need to do that first, whether it's before you wake up your kids or right after you wake them up, and then you can have your time to yourself. Or just schedule in, get up a little bit earlier, schedule that time in, and allow yourself that time before your kids get up. If you know you're like, I want uninterrupted time, then do that. And a really helpful tip, if you do like lunches, breakfast is hectic in the morning, you're like, I don't know what to feed my kids, and you're making lunches on top of that, do that the night before. So set your morning routine actually starts the night before. So do everything you can the night before. Like overnight oats is an awesome breakfast for yourself and for your kids. And it's super easy. You add your oats and your milk, dairy-free milk, whatever you do, fruit. You can add in peanut butter, hemp hearts. Like there's so many options. Just Google overnight oats, and all you have to do is make it in a jar and put it in the fridge. And then in the morning, we just add it to a pot and warm it up. So it's super easy, and it helps to kind of keep the stress off in the morning routines. And then also smoothies are a really awesome way to kind of get a good, like really high nutrition breakfast, but get you out the door. And sometimes my kids are finishing them on the way to daycare and school, which is totally fine. So that is kind of my third tip. It's like, get yourself ready, set up things for the morning the night before. And then number 4 is use a calm voice. When you're asking your kids to do something, I don't know about you, but when I put myself into their shoes, I wouldn't listen if my mom was screaming at me to get my shoes on or anything. So it's just like, use a calm voice. Kids respond so much better when we use a calm voice. Either when it's asking them to do something, if your kids are that age where they can grab their own stuff for their backpack or put their water in or their lunch or whatever it is, or whatever your morning looks like, asking them for help if they're at that age where they can help. And like, you'll know by your child and their age whether they can do things or not. And then it's like little things. So my youngest, I'll ask him to put on his shoes. He has little Crocs and he can put them on by himself now. He can't quite get himself dressed, but it's like my oldest can. So like when my oldest is getting himself dressed, then I'm getting the youngest dressed. So it's just, yeah, ask them for help. And if you have toddlers, they love getting asked to do little chores or little things, but asking in a calm voice is the biggest thing. When we yell at our kids, like, we don't enjoy to be yelled at, so our kids don't enjoy it either. And then number 5 is praise them. When they do something that is really helpful to you, praise them and tell them like, thank you so much for doing that. That really helped mommy or daddy. Like, that is just the best thing ever, that they know that they really truly helped you and helped you guys get out the door on time. So that was a big shift for us. It was like praising my oldest when he would get himself ready, and then sometimes help his brother get ready and just help him get like the little back strap on his Crocs on. And that was really helpful when they heard that they got praised, or we give a little hug or high fives or whatever it is, whatever you have time for, or talk about it when you're in the car driving wherever you need to go. But yeah, so number 1 was figure out that end goal. What is that feeling? Bring a feeling to what you want your morning to be and to feel like. That is like the number 1 key. If it's constant chaos and stress, no one enjoys that. Your kids don't enjoy that. That doesn't set up your morning, and that doesn't set up their morning for a good time at all. So figure out that end goal, bring a feeling to it, and journal. I want you guys to journal about this, like how you want your morning to feel. And then number 2 is working backwards. So again, journal out your like whole kind of time frame. I have to leave by 8 o'clock, and then work backwards. Okay, I have to get up at 7 or before 7 to either get myself ready and then to get my kids ready and do all the things we need to do to get out the door on time. So number 2 was work backwards. Number 3 was get yourself ready first. That's a big one. If you're allowing your kids to wake you up still, set an alarm clock for half an hour or however much time you need before they get up so that you have time to get yourself ready. And if they're already up, if they're super early risers, then work with it. Like I allow my oldest son to watch a show in the morning when I'm doing my studying. So it's just like setting those boundaries and the guidelines of what you want your morning to feel like and what their morning can be, right? Because you have your things you need to do, and then they can have their things that they want to do as well. And then number 4, use a calm voice. That is a big one. I feel the yelling becomes something that we maybe never thought it would be, but it just becomes part of like parenthood, which that's not a good feeling. It doesn't leave them feeling good in the morning, and it doesn't leave you feeling good because you feel guilt that you yelled and all that stuff. So just try your best. Think before you speak. So if you're gonna just say like, oh, just get your shoes on, just say like, hey buddy, can you please get your shoes on? Or we just say shoes, time for shoes. And it's just simple, one word, they understand what it is. And if they don't listen right away, don't keep barking at them. Their little minds take time to kind of respond to like, okay, mommy just said shoes. Okay, now I have to go over here, get my shoes, and then go sit and put them on. So give them it's like 10 seconds. Give them 10 seconds to reflect and hear what you just asked them to do. And then 5, praise them. When they've done something really good and really important, praise them because they love to hear that from you. And they are excited when you're happy with them and happy for them because they helped you. They just love to help. But those are my tips. Hopefully this was helpful. If you have any other questions, comment on the Facebook group and we will definitely check in and answer the questions when we can. And if you have any topics or little things that you're like, this is chaos or stress, how can we make this better? Definitely let us know and we can do a topic on it. But have a wonderful day and we will see you all next week.